6:30, we'll call a planning board meeting to order. Mr. Dwyer?
Carissa Pankratz. For Wendy's.
Good evening. Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
So I am back to talk about, I did a little research and updated all of the drawings. Let me see if I can remember how to share. There we go. So I confirmed that our signage is not exceeding the 64 square feet of area allowed, and that includes the triangle going around the entire signage area. So for the front elevation, we have an overall signage area of 33 square feet. And then on the customer entrance side, we have an overall square footage of 64 feet and 0.75 square feet. We have removed the Taco Bell logo from the mural. And I confirmed that there is existing lighting on the sides of the building. It is not the same bronze sconce that is on the towers, but all of the existing lighting is to remain. So we're not changing any of the exterior lighting. I think that is it for those. And then let me pull this up over here, make sure I've covered everything. And then I did provide, I found some existing elevations that were originally submitted back in 2009 when the building was constructed. So this is what was previously approved to my knowledge. You can see that our signage was originally, she got an overall, the original, this was the right side elevation, had an overall signage of 66 square feet, which we've reduced that, as I mentioned. And then the overall signage on this elevation was 58.7 square feet. So as you can see, our signage has been reduced a little bit, and with the new logo, brand logo. So did I cover everything? Oh, I looked at the existing site. There is no pylon sign. So we will not be proposing a new pylon sign. Oops, sorry.
What about the artwork on the side of the building?
Like I mentioned, so this is the artwork on the side of the building. Oops.
Okay.
Is essentially what it looks like. And as I mentioned, we removed the logo. So there is no bell on the artwork anymore.
It sounded like there were two signs, and one was 33 and one was 64. And I know that our ordinance is 64 max total, but I think you're not more than your existing. So in that case, any of the members can correct me, but it sounds like you're okay.
Okay. Yeah, we had one that's 46 and then one that's 33.
Yeah. I'm not positive, but I think the reason it was approved that way is because there's no pylon sign. I'm not positive of that, though.
Plus, I think it was deemed as a corner lot.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
And it is a corner lot. The building is a little bit off of the intersection. So any additional signage that we have is obviously appreciated. And I think that covers all of the questions you guys had last time I was on, which was on September 20th. So
Yeah, I saw a Taco Bell with this color scheme. I think it was in New York. And It's actually quite attractive. I was surprised how nice it looked. Even though it's purple and everything else, it looked pretty nice because the building is still like the gray color.
Hmm.
And like I said, it looked pretty nice.
Sorry, I've got someone decorating for Halloween behind me.
Well, it's
Now,
good to know
those-
that all their taste isn't in their mouth.
Those were the questions we had for you. I don't have anything else in my notes. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll make a
Any other
motion.
questions, comments? What is the address of this again?
Recording in progress.
Carissa, what is the address?
My Zoom is not working. Give me a second. It is 358 Russell Street, Hadley, Massachusetts.
Okay, Russell, that's all I need. All right. Good water.
Okay, I'll make a motion to waive further site plan approval for the redesign as shown on the plans.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Any hearing none? All in favor? Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Great.
Very good.
Now,
We'll get an email out to the building inspector and you can go and apply if you would like tomorrow for whatever you want to do.
Great. We already have building permit approval, to my understanding. I think this was the last item we were waiting on. So thank you very much for your time this evening.
Okay.
And I will let you go.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Rick Bramucci.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm sitting here with Joy Boiswert, and we're just trying to get the ball rolling on our ventures up at the old North Hadley Village Hall.
Okay.
What's your street address?
239 River Drive.
And what do you want to do?
So we're asking to make the change of use from the building from municipality to residential commercial. By making that change, we'd like to create 7 residential units in one small business office in the use of the old apparatus bay for Bermucci Construction to operate out of. The rentals will be a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom, high end, geared towards working professionals. We would like to maximize the overall square footage of the current building and create the most revenue needed for the construction costs.
Okay. We cannot give you are not putting in multifamily units in that building is not a permitted use by the zoning bylaws. And you will need a variance from the zoning board of appeals for that.
Okay,
The mixed use is permitted. One residence and one business is a permitted use.
gotcha. Okay,
However, anything more than one residence is not permitted. You need a variance. You'll need to show hardship. And how many, since you're putting in 7 units, are any of these going to be deemed affordable under the Massachusetts regulations?
Jim, just one question before he answers that one. The 55 and older housing, it would be permitted, I believe, in that area.
With a special permit, yes.
Can you
Yes.
look it up, Bill? Or do you have it, the bylaw in front of you?
Retrofit is a permitted use in that district.
Senior housing is allowed in existing structures wherever located.
Right.
So you could, if it's going to be senior housing, then you would not need the variance. You just have to come before us like you are now.
With a special permit.
And designated for 55 and older.
Older housing.
55.
And those are generally high end.
And the question would still apply on affordability. You would still need to put some affordable housing in. One of those.
But,
units would be
but they could
affordable.
contribute to the Affordable Trust, right?
What's that?
In lieu of that, they could contribute something to the Affordable Housing Trust.
That's at our option.
Okay.
Okay. That's at the option of the planning board. Being that building is the way it is, I would highly in trying to encourage them to put in one affordable unit in that instead of contributing to the trust. That would be my 2 cents. Why? Because it's a perfect fit for it. It's not going to be visible from the outside, and it would be much more conducive to do that.
Who's gonna be in charge of renting these? These are gonna be rentals, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And who's gonna be in charge of renting the property?
We will be.
We ourselves, Mount Warner LLC is the partnership we formed.
Is that what the office is for in there? Or I don't know if that matters.
That office is more for my construction business and
Okay.
part of Mount Warner LLC.
Okay.
Kind of a place for, the renters to kind of check in if need be. So kind of a owner occupied building as well.
So you're aware that if we do have an affordable unit in there, you have to screen for the affordability qualifications as to income
They could also contract somebody to do that for them.
for one.
Yeah,
It probably makes more sense to contract for one than if you could hire someone if you had 20 to do, but
Yeah,
if you're doing one every other year, you better off getting a contractor.
And that affordability triggers on what number of apartments?
6 or more.
6 or more. Okay.
So does it make more sense just to go with 6 so we're not giving one away or making it affordable?
You would have
no,
to
5.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything. So 5 is the cap.
Right. If you put 5 or less, then you don't trigger the affordability thing.
Okay. All right.
But,
These are all business decisions.
Yep.
yeah,
Your business decisions, not ours.
Right. We're just trying to keep it geared for lesser bedrooms and more apartments to kind of, higher end working professionals. Not, we don't want to turn into a frat house in North Hadley.
Well, how many square feet is that total that for living space?
Just look at the plans real quick and see if it is written down.
So I did send their plans around to everyone last week when they came in. So if you want
It's
to,
hard to read it.
We're looking at about 7,000 square feet. So about, 800 to 900 square feet per apartment, with some common hallways and staircases and laundry area.
Those are decent sized apartments.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're really trying to do is maximize, obviously the use of the hall with the building costs today, as we all know. We still want to go with possibly more apartments and less apartments and try to go the higher end, than getting more bedrooms and less apartments and have to deal with that problem. It's going to cost us ultimately more in the end, but being residents of North Hadley and want to keep it, quieter that way, that's what we're choosing to try to do. Try to navigate through the, the codes and what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Now,
Unfortunately, excuse me, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Unfortunately, you can't get around the 6 or more. I think it's a horrible bylaw, but it's the bylaw.
However, we do have the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund may be able to help contribute to them on that conversion of one unit into affordable housing. That is the intent of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So we may be able to give them some money to encourage that.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
That's the goal. And I think the 55 and older housing would work there because from what I saw from your plans, they're all one bedroom, which lends itself towards older couples.
Yeah, there was a couple, I think there was 4 1-bedroom and 3 2-bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've kind of been working on income in the area. What does a 1-bedroom generate in our area? What does a 2-bedroom generate in our area? And trying to look at all the costs of doing this project and where we feel we'd have to be to make it a viable project to get the interior done, the exterior, cleaned up and straightened out due to the historical, restrictions and get it looking beautiful again, which somehow in some way we are going to do in North Hadley. I mean, we're going to work with you guys, whether we get what we want or we give a little bit, but we're going to do this project together. And I guarantee you, everybody will be happy when this is said and done.
Yeah.
Oh, if they're 55 and over, then, you probably wouldn't have as much turnover as you might have with young working, quote unquote, professionals.
Sure.
Feeling, I don't want you to tell you how to run a business, but
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and take our suggestion on a 55 and over with a grain of salt, because we're not designers. This is your project. So
Right.
it's like you have to make these business decisions. So,
But that's what the zoning is for. So he won't have to go through a variance
yeah.
possibility, which could be denied. So,
Yeah,
but
the one thing about, I'm just going to quote the zone bylaw to you. To get the zoning variance for multifamily housing, you need to show hardship. And that's not financial. That's something about topography, shape of the property, et cetera, et cetera. And you will be hard pressed to show true hardship. So if there's somebody in the area that really has heartburn over converting this to multifamily dwellings, these are decisions you need to make. Whereas if you go for the 55 and over, it's not a zoning variance, it's a special permit. And as long as the planning board is consistent with the application of the 55 and over bylaw, and somebody were to appeal it, they would be hard pressed to show that we were arbitrary and capricious. First of all, because there's still a need for over 55 housing in the area. And, it would be a little bit easier sell regarding zoning bylaws. But again, these are decisions you gentlemen have to make.
But I applaud these two gentlemen for one thing, because someone from Sunderland came up to me and said, oh, there's going to be apartments there and they're going to want 20 apartments and they're going to want some apartments on the ball field. That's what happened in Sunderland. And they went for a variance and they didn't get it. So either you have great foresight or you have
Yeah, by no means do we want to turn that green space, the ball field, into anything but just something to enjoy, but maximize the square footage of the interior of the building to maximize our revenue on this whole venture.
Yeah, and we applaud you for trying to do a good job. Don't take it anything other than that, because we still have to apply the zone bylaw across the board, irregardless of who applies. So don't take it personally when we say certain things, because the zone bylaw is the zone bylaw. But first of all, we know both of you gentlemen, and we know that you are truly trying to do a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we understand that, but like I said, we just wanted to, get the ball rolling. Everybody has been asking now for quite some time, what is going on? What are the intentions? And we finally got to the point that we've got some ideas and some thoughts. And so we have to, start obviously, getting to you folks and other, committees to let you know what we're thinking. And, and being a resident and business owner in Hadley, we're going to rely a lot on you committee members instead of just, spending money with other people to tell us what we can and can't do. We're going to rely on you to guide us through, because that's part of what I feel is why you're in the position to do.
Yeah, we're not impatient about how long it'll take because somehow when the town manages real estate, it took about 25 years just to get rid of that property. I think you guys are showing great foresight in going ahead with it so quickly.
So Rick, while you're here,
Yep.
would you like to ask for a waiver of site plan approval to use the site for your business for the time being?
Yeah, I guess if this is the opportunity to do so, and that doesn't lock us into any restrictions later on that property.
No, I'm assuming there are no exterior alterations planned immediately.
No cosmetic, maybe paint and, we get
Okay.
the roof coated kind of thing, but no, we've been talking with historical and there's going to be no change on that.
What is the address again?
239 River Drive.
239 River Drive, okay.
Elevator. Is there an elevator in there? I didn't see it on the plans.
No elevator.
How'd you get away with that one?
I don't know if we got away with anything yet.
That's a good, I like that comment.
Like you said, this is something that, we know it's going to be a long-term,
Back and forth.
back and forth and kind of, even our revenue, we know this isn't a cash fall right away and it's going to be a long-term and more for our kids, but more for the community of North Hadley here and to try to preserve this building. We're not landlords, in many different ventures. So this is kind of our first thing, but it's important building to us. So.
Okay.
That's good.
So you were requesting a waiver of site plan approval for a, what do you call it, temporary occupancy, Bill?
I'd say for change of use to house Bermucci Construction with no exterior alteration or signs at this time.
Okay.
Kind of like what we did for Tim Keatsa across the street.
Okay.
Bill, can I just interrupt? Are you there?
Yep.
We may be coating that roof with the same aluminum asphalt base that's originally on that roof just to buy us some time. We have some leaking areas. So that would be the only thing that we would be doing on that building is apple to apple.
Yeah.
Just putting a roof coating, just to make sure we're not saying something we're not supposed to say. When we're telling you we're not altering anything, I just want to let you know, we may be getting that roof coated here before it gets too cold.
Yep, no, that's fine. The alterations we're talking about are things like putting in new doors and new windows and, basically changing the structure.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're doing that at this point.
You're basically doing routine maintenance of the building. Like if the building is white, if you were to come paint the building white, that's just routine maintenance.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the motion.
That's the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
The motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. That takes care of that little thing. Okay. As far as, yeah, okay. We applaud you for coming in and letting us know what you want to do. And like I says, we have confidence you'll do a good job and work with the town on it.
That's exactly what we wanted to do was to, like I said, break the ice, come and start talking to you guys. We understand this is going to take quite some time. We're going to be back and forth multiple times, but at least we need to start letting somebody know where we're at, what we're doing, what we're thinking, and we'll start navigating through your responses on the yays and the nays and the, what we could possibly do. And then we're going to be back again, down the road here shortly. So.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. I believe Mr. Squire.
So there are two things. Jeff has one request for us, and then Mike Gagnon is just here for the revote on the 401 Russell Street.
And you have that in your inbox, right, Bill?
I just got it, so I'm going to share that. So the issue is that Mark missed the first session of the review of the 401 Russell Street. And so we didn't declare prior to the last vote that he had
I had viewed it and then completed the form, yeah.
Brought himself up to speed, and by reviewing the video and executing the certification prior to participating in a vote. So in the interest of not throwing anyone a gratuitous appealable issue, I thought it would be best if we just revoted it.
I agree. Makes
And
sense.
I think we can do that instantly, and then we have a couple of things that Jeff wants to talk to us about. So let's get this out of the way. And I won't go through the whole motion again, because it's on the record from the last time, but I will move to approve the application. This is Amherst Development.
As previously.
To approve the application of Amherst Development for site plan approval based upon the findings and upon the conditions that I had previously laid out in detail at our last meeting.
Which was October 4th.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for catching that, Bill. I
Good,
think.
good catch. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's anyway. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Okay.
Motion second. Good catch on your part, and you're right. We don't want to give somebody.
We had done the paperwork,
appeal, but we also
we
don't
hadn't
want
made
to
it
give them
public,
an
yeah.
easy pass, like you said. Motion second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. Good. Mr. Squire.
Good evening, everyone. So the first one, the easy one, is I guess we're going to request a continuance for the 13 Russell Street parcel. Obviously, we're going to pursue a variance. Turns out there's 0.2 of a square foot that is outside of setbacks on that property. So to do anything on there is going to require a variance from the ZBA. So we're going to pursue that process. So we can continue this, that topic anyway, I suppose until, we can let you know, or do you want to set a date? I don't know how long that process is going to take. So
yeah, let's set a date. That's what the courts call continuing to a date certain. We can't just continue it.
definitely.
You're still sharing your screen, Bill.
Oh, okay. That will be bigger then.
Want to say December 6th, and then you can always come back on December 6th if the date changes to, and if, let's say it needs to be in January or February, you can always request that date at that time. But by December 6th, you should at least know what's
Sure.
going on with all the timing. Okay, Jeff?
Yep, that sounds fine.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue to Tuesday, December 6th.
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Very good.
Great.
And the other
Thank
one, I'm assuming, nice, you got, what you call it? Gardener Supply, right?
The garden supply, yes. Yep. So we did have some correspondence with Fire Chief, latest being this afternoon. He reviewed plans that we had sent to him with a couple of revisions based on some of the requests for fire access across the front of that site. Really, if I can share and show you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, really concerned about this access across the front of the site, as they do now. And so, understanding that we were proposing, fencing all around, the plan now includes, a gate at this entrance, I need to confirm the turning radius for him. About, a couple of parking spaces at the end of, this aisle here to allow him to get a fire truck through there. It may necessitate widening these radius a little bit, which is fine. And I did agree that we would, we've got a 16-foot gate here now. We can try to increase that to a 20. Explain that the price of a 20-foot gate is pretty hefty, and we may have to come to another solution. I'd be a chain with a lock or something, whatever works for the garden center and fire access, but we'll come to that once they get some pricing on this. But he seemed satisfied that we were continuing to allow that fire access through the site. So I think the only other thing that was left out was the review letter from Bucky Sparkle, which we talked about at the last meeting. So I think that was the only thing that was left, at least in my notes. So yeah, not sure if there are other questions or concerns or.
Well, we did get the letter from Bucky Sparkle, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And we saw the light fixtures proposed on this one. They're going to shine
Yes.
down. It's the
Yes.
box. Yep. Good.
Yep.
And
Yeah, all that's in the original package. It was really just clarifying this drive access, the stormwater, and the emergency access.
So the only thing that really is outstanding is the width of the gate and the turning radius at the easternmost exit.
Correct.
Okay.
So I said we would provide him a sketch, that showed those, and we'll, as they get real numbers to construct it. I mean, the radius won't be any problem. It's really going to be about the gate, I think, is going to be the biggest issue. Fencing prices have gone through the roof, and gates, even more so for whatever reason. So we will, we'll work with both to figure that out.
Is that going
COVID is an excuse to raise the price of everything.
Pardon?
I said, COVID is an excuse to raise the price
Oh.
of everything.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's crazy what some things cost and others don't. So.
Yeah. So.
And I did send around to everybody earlier, just a little while ago, the email from Mike Spanknavel confirming all of this.
Right.
So are we going to approve this then?
Jeff, it's not going to significantly impact your eastern row of parking to go that extra 4 feet, because it looks like you've got room with the new red maple at the south end of that.
So where are you speaking about?
The easternmost row of the west side parking.
Easternmost row, the west side parking.
The west side, no, go to the other side of the page.
Yeah.
So when
So what I agreed to is that we would take these accessible spaces and move them, further up the row.
Okay.
It's not going to increase the amount of, area that's allotted for parking. It's just,
Okay.
So we'll leave this as an open fire lane, and I explained that there's no curb. All this is really existing, asphalt. We'll just delineate it somehow.
Jeff,
Okay.
the only thing about approving it now, and sometimes we get caught, but in as much as you're quite reputable, these changes will have to go on a final plan.
Mhm.
And do we have to sign them as a board, or does Jim sign them? The one,
We're waiving site plan approval, but we can condition it upon receipt of a final plan
okay,
acceptable to the fire chief.
Sure. And I did commit to getting that to him by the end of the week, just to keep the process moving and finalized. So if that works for you, that would be fine.
What's the address again, Jeff?
Of the property,
Yes.
it was 357, 3.
two numbers.
357 Magnum.
What's your, I don't have it off the top of my head. I should know. I apologize.
Well, that's a good sign that you have so many projects. You don't keep them all right in there.
Well, there's a lot of addresses is what it is.
Yeah.
There's two addresses.
350, I think it's 357. Yeah. 285, I'm sorry, 285.
285.
285 and 279 is the adjacent.
385?
285
But there's two numbers last time, Jeff, you said.
and 279 is the adjacent one.
Ah, that's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
So it's
right.
277 and 279, or it's
279, 285.
285, okay,
Yeah.
All right.
which does not add up to 357.
You want to make a motion, Mr.
I'm-
Dwyer?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to waive further site plan approval for the changes as shown on the plan. So changes as
Shown on plan.
shown,
Subject,
subject to receiving,
Final,
subject as I should say, changes as discussed, subject to a final plan acceptable to fire chief.
what was the last word? Subject, fire chief?
Subject to a final plan acceptable to the fire chief.
Okay,
So he will determine whether the changes as shown on the final plan reflect what he wants.
okay. That's right. I just want to get it down so when I relay it to inspector, he hears what we said. So I'm going to wait for the site plan approval. Changes as shown on plan, subject to receiving final plan as discussed, acceptable to the fire chief.
Yeah.
Close enough. Okay,
I would second that.
we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thanks, Jeff. Good
Thank you
job.
very much, gentlemen.
Good
Have a
job.
good
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, other business.
Are we expecting Ken tonight or no?
We are
No,
not. He's sick.
Oh, okay,
He called in sick.
all right,
Too much Zoom.
yeah. Seems tired.
Anyway, okay, let's see. We need to pay ourselves. I will make a motion to approve $575 for the pay period July, August, September 2022 for planning board stipend.
I would second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye?
Hey,
All right.
Aye.
What was
Any
that amount?
opposed?
Jim?
Pardon?
575.
What was the amount?
575. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And while we're at it, so I don't forget to do the next one, entertain them, I will make a motion to approve planning board stipend for October, November, and December 2022 in the same amount, $575.
second,
Thank you. I won't submit that till December, but I don't want to be late on it either. So with motion and a second, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Those are the only invoices I have. Like Mr. Dwyer says, Ken emailed us requesting a sick day, and move his scheduled appointment to the first Tuesday in November, which I think was November 1st.
And he is actively working to set up an appointment with the building department. He is working on the development handbook
Okay.
with them. And I did ask him to also give some thought. It looks like we probably should try to have something ready for Springtown meeting on these event venues and
Yeah.
the outdoor entertainment.
Selectmen are encouraging us to get something on it, either a general bylaw or a zoning bylaw. They're kind of counting on us to give them a hand.
Good point, Jim. That's whether it's going to be a zoning bylaw or a general bylaw, because right now the ball seems to be in the select board's court, and they've been making the decisions, yay or nay. But do we want that responsibility, or should it stay there?
Well, they've been asking us to provide an advisory opinion on that without necessarily turning it into a formal filing with us. So I guess that will be one of the questions we'll work out. Who's going to issue the venue permits?
Well, it's one of the problems that the Board of Health, Board of Health was approving this stuff. People were just going to them and they were saying, okay.
Well, the Board of Health was approving it, but again, like it's happened several times before, the Board of Health was approving what was within its jurisdiction.
Right.
And just I put in our decisions that our approval is subject to approval of others if and as required. And I think the Board of Health didn't say that. I think it sort of goes without saying, but if you're just trying to get your food truck or get your event venue going, you can pick and choose if it doesn't explicitly say that you should approve others.
So people were taking the Board of Health's decision as the stamp of approval.
And they were running with it.
Yeah.
And by the same token, part of the reason we have this development team that meets once a week is that a few years ago, people were turning to the building inspector and saying, I don't know why you're giving me a problem. The planning board said it was okay. So, part of this is just to try to get across to everybody that there's no one-stop shop here. And maybe the development handbook will help clarify that. Not every board has to get involved in everything, but at the very least, and I think that's one of the questions you raised last time, Joe, is the building inspector sending everybody to the Conservation Commission? Well, I guess he is, in the sense that he wants to know whether the Conservation Commission thinks they have jurisdiction before he issues a building permit, because that can get messy if someone gets a permit and starts work and violates conservation rules. So part of this is just trying to get it set up so that everybody who has a voice gets heard.
And I'm sure a lot of applicants would like us to just give them a roadmap. For this project, you do that, but every project's a little different. They don't all fit into a nice, neat, it's kind of case by case. But yeah, I think it is probably wiser to have them check with other boards in case they do have jurisdiction.
You're both making good comments, and it's not that simple. Even the word adjacent to a wetlands. Bill, this is coming, as you know, before the Supreme Court. A guy has a building lot adjacent to a wetlands. What does adjacent mean? Does that mean immediately abutting? Does it mean across the road? Does it mean underground water adjacent to it? So that's what the Supreme Court has to.
Yep.
And a few years ago, Mark, we had the Corps of Engineers on one of the projects in the industrial park come before us. They thought they had jurisdiction under the Clean Waters Act. I mean, the Clean Waters Act was supposed to be, and the Corps of Engineers was in charge of navigable waterways. Then it went to the streams, then it went to the little rivulets, then probably to your downspout. So all of these have to be clarified too.
Well, and I know that there is a frustration that it seems to take a long time, but on the other hand, you'd like to know whether the Conservation Commission thinks they have a role before you've started digging your foundation.
Right.
Yeah, and we're a lot quicker than other towns, so they're not, can't make too many complaints.
So with Ken's absence, I don't think I have anything else.
Are you or Jim going to be at the senior center on Thursday for the town forum?
I will probably attend via Zoom, but there are no planning board articles
There's no
on.
zoning, there's no zoning thing on it.
Oh, the special permit isn't us. Isn't that Article 11 or something?
Well, let's see. I happen to have that up.
It was either 10 or 11. I can't remember. I think the last one is that climate, the non-binding climate.
I honestly don't know where that came from.
It doesn't say planning board anywhere in it. It doesn't say any.
It has not been referred to us. It's to amend the zoning bylaw, but it has not been referred to us for a public hearing.
What's it say?
It says, let me put it up.
I wonder who brought that up. We could blame it on Ken.
No, it's not.
That's gonna be, we haven't held we have not conducted a public hearing on this, so this thing can't possibly pass.
So that we have to strike that on the floor.
The moderator will do it. It's unpassable, so it doesn't require a motion or anything. Nobody
gave that to us.
Yeah.
When the Attorney General approved the changes to the bylaw, to the special permit language, they did raise this as a note that if we accept it before the town clerk accepts it, then the timeline for the clock starts ticking for rendering a decision. But as a practical matter, if they file with the town clerk, it might be 3 weeks before we see it. If, for instance, we're coming up at a period where we'll not have a meeting for 3 weeks. So it really makes more sense to have people file with us, and then we pass it on to the town clerk usually the next day. And then we know it when it's on, and they know when it's on. I have no idea where this came from, unless it's something that was recommended by town council to quote unquote fix something. I know that the decision of the Attorney General came in just after we had shifted town council. So prior council hadn't commented on it. The Attorney General did not disallow it, just flagged it. And then I don't know why it is on, but it will not go anywhere. And
Okay.
I'm happy to,
Did you guys get a copy of the warrant?
Yeah, I found it on the, where did I go to the website? The town?
Okay.
Website. I found it on I'll tell you what, I'll forward. I got an email from Council on Aging, which had a link to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just forward that.
Bill, could you pull up that climate change one in particular about the what they would like to do? One of them has to do with the dikes in Hadley, and one of the speakers at the senior center, we should raise the dikes in Hadley. And if it's non-binding and then we vote for it, can you see if that is still left in there?
Okay, just a second. I'm just getting the other thing forwarded. There's a link in here. You can also maybe go to take the Council on Aging bus out to the outlets if you want. only $10. And Mark, you have it already, but I'll send this along. Anyway, there's a link in here to the forum on Thursday, and okay, so let's go back to.
Yeah, in case anyone listening to this did not see it anywhere else in online or any other reason, the special town meeting is next Thursday, the 27th at 7 p.m. at Hopkins Academy in person. They didn't mention anything about Zoom, and I'm not sure they could handle Zoom at a town meeting. It would go all night.
Yeah, I
It
think
would be
that
good.
we're not set up to
Yeah.
vote
Right.
remotely.
It would be, it's nice that it gets more participation, but
So this goes on and on.
Yeah, it does go, but it's near the end, Bill. I'm just wondering.
in the bullet points or in the,
Yes, near the end. There we go. Okay, protect our farm soils. Okay, protect the habitat. Continue to forest, the adaptation.
I think there's more on the next page. I'm not sure.
Okay, and
No, yeah, here you go. Oh, no, that's just who it's,
so that one was, that section was pulled out
okay.
about the dikes. Because if we approve this and then all of a sudden somebody said, well, you agreed to fix the dikes, and if they're coming apart, we'll fix them. But what it would mean putting a dike on Bay Road, it just wouldn't work. So plus you have to get the Corps of Engineers involved. And as you know, if you dump a truckload of soil in the floodplain, that's a violation. How would it be if we put tons and tons of it around the town?
Yeah, it looks like they boiled it down and just said, and resilience planning. So,
Okay, all right. That's, thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, I will stop sharing then, but thank you, Mark, for noticing that. I had not noticed it, so.
and for all of our fans who are watching out there or watch this afterwards, there's also a forum this Thursday at the Senior Center to discuss these issues. So maybe get your questions answered or your questions fueled for town meeting.
The forum is not designed as a place to debate the articles. It's just to explain what they are for those who want to educate themselves before they are sitting at town meeting and going through the warrant for the first time.
Right. Have
Very
we had
good.
forums every year?
We've had them the last 5 or 6 years, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. Chairman?
I have nothing else. Mr.
Move
Dwyer,
adjourned.
I have nothing else.
anybody else? Motion to adjourn?
You're gonna get hit the rush
Oh,
at Joe's.
I'm sorry.
I would
Motion
so
second.
move.
That's right.
Put over here.
So
All in
moved.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Meeting is history. Thank you, and thank you, Alex.